you can see in the example given down, CH3Br, which is a bromomethane, and you can see after the breaking of the bond between CH3 and Br, the bromine is getting the advantage of presence of both the electron in the bonded atom, like that is given to bromine, and CH3 will not get any electron, that is why a positive charge. So heterotic cleavage is in heterotic cleavage, the shared pair of electron remains with one of the fragment, and the pair will give to the other one, mean like the other electron or the other fragment, atom or fragment will not get any electron. So it is, you can see the arrow used is a full arrow with the head, meaning there are a complete transfer of pair of electron takes place. Pair of electron is moving from the center, that is the middle portion of the bonded atoms of fragment. From that area, it will be completely transferred to the one of the fragment. That is what happened in heterolytic cleavage. And after the heterolytic cleavage, usually you will get a positive species and a negative species. If a positive fragment, the fragment formed with a positive charge contains carbon, then we call it as carbocation. That is, cation is positive. Carbocation means carbon with positive charge. That you can see in this example is the formation of a carbocation, carbon with positive charge. And if you are getting a species like CH3 negative, and that is a carbanion, we call it as carbanion because it's a fragment of carbon with a negative charge. So usually anions mean negative ions, and carbanion means it's a negative fragment containing carbon. So in carbocation and carbanion, carbon is important and carbon is carrying positive or the negative charges. So this will be formed in heterolytic cleavage. It's not compulsory that all the heterolytic cleavage will give you carbocation and carboanion. Either one of them will be present. So in this example, you can see a carbocations are formed, and maybe in some other cleavage, you will get a carbanion. So positive fragments containing carbon is carbocation. Negative fragments containing carbon is carbanion. So these two are the what you can say major points we need in the heterolytic cleavage, because we are basically looking for the carbon fragments. We are not worried about bromide or any other species, which is already we are aware of it. But we are looking for these carbon fragments with the positive and negative charges. That means carbanions and carbocations. So I think till here we discussed in the previous section, I think in the first period. Then we discussed about classification of carbocation. Carbocations are classified as primary, secondary and tertiary, and this classification is based on the number of alkyl groups. So at that time only we went to the discussion of what is an alkyl group. Alkyl group is represented with the letter R, and this is going to be very quite common usage in your representation of organic compound. R mean alkyl group. Alkyl group mean a normal saturated hydrocarbon, that is alkane. When this alkane comes as a branch of carbon, then we call it as alkyl. And this alkyl will have one hydrogen less than the formula of an alkane. So we discussed about the formula of methane, CH4. When methane comes as a branch, we call it as methyl with one hydrogen less. So this is methane and this is methyl. Similarly, all the saturated hydrocarbon, that is alkane, can be represented as alkyl group by reducing one hydrogen from its formula. So ethane is C2H6. C2H6 can be represented as CH3. CH3. That is how you will write the structural formula. And when it forms ethyl, converts into ethyl, its formula is C2H5, or you can write it as CH3CH2. Right?
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you know what is an alkyl group, then if you look into the formulas given, primary carbocation means there is one alkyl group attached. Secondary carbocation mean you can see two alkyl groups are attached on the positive carbon. Tertiary carbocation mean you can see three alkyl groups are attached to the positive carbon. This is how you are classifying carbocation based on number of alkyl groups attached to the positive carbon. If only one alkyl groups are present, then it is a primary. If two alkyl groups are present, then it is secondary. And if there are three alkyl groups are attached to the positive carbon, then it is tertiary. Okay. Is that clear, the difference between primary, secondary and tertiary?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's do few examples to show, like, to understand the difference between primary, secondary and tertiary. I'm just writing the formula and you need to tell me, like, what is the type of okay. CH3, CH2, CH plus CH3. This is a carbocation and classify it as either primary, secondary or tertiary. Which category it belongs to? Which group it belongs to? CH3, CH2, CH, CH3.
Ma'am, is it secondary? I'm not sure.
Yes, how you found out it is secondary? It's correct. How you found out it?
Ma'am, because there are two alkyl groups and one hydrogen over there.
Very
So
good, very good. It is it like that only. That means first you look into the positive carbon. Okay. Then you look for how many alkyl groups are attached to this positive carbon. Okay. So this is one alkyl group. You can consider this as one carbon chain. That is one alkyl group. And this is the second alkyl group. And there is already hydrogen. You don't count hydrogen. You look into number of alkyl group. So you have two alkyl groups. So it is secondary. Okay. Let's try one more. CH3, CH2 plus. Primary, secondary or tertiary?
ma'am, primary. Ma'am, primary.
Yeah,
Primary, ma'am.
yeah, very good. That means, as you can see here, there is only one alkyl group, rest is two hydrogen and the positive charges on this carbon atom, right? So, to this carbon, only one alkyl group is there. So, this is primary. Okay, this one. Primary,
Ma'am,
secondary or tertiary?
tertiary, right?
Yeah, it will be tertiary because
Tertiary.
you have 1, 2, and 3 alkyl groups attached to the positive carbon. So this is a tertiary carbocation. Because this is very important, because these carbocations will be helpful in explaining the reaction mechanism of organic reactions. At that time you will be using them. Okay, so I hope I made myself clear on the classification of carbocation. And usually in the if you're preparing for any competitive exams and all, like one of the important questions comes related to carbocation is about, like usually in the multiple choice kind of question is about its hybridization and what we can say, shape of the molecule, and comparing it with the carbanion, carbocations and carboanion, what is their difference in their hybridization and geometry. So here you can see carbocations are highly unstable because they carry charge. Whenever any species contains a charge, whether positive or negative, they will be highly unstable. So if they are unstable, mean they will immediately react with something to give the product. So they are highly unstable and at the same time they are highly reactive. Carbocations are formed as intermediates in a reaction. So once they form, next step immediately they will undergo some changes to give you a stable product. And as I said, they got a trigonal planar. The shape or the geometry is trigonal planar, and the hybridization is sp2. That means if you want to draw sp2 hybridized trigonal planar geometry, you can see the carbon with positive charge, and trigonally 3 bonds will be there. It can be either hydrogen or alkyl based on primary, secondary or tertiary. So if you want to show primary, there will be 2 hydrogen and 1 alkyl group. This is the trigonal planar structure for the primary carbocation. Or if you want to show for the tertiary, all the 3 planar, trigonal planar positions are alkyl group and there is a positive charge on the carbon. So here sp2 hybridization with trigonal planar geometry. So please highlight and note down these points about the geometry and hybridization. So this is what about carbocation and its classification. In the next slide, we are comparing the stability of carbocation. So when you compare the stability of carbocation, tertiary is more stable, then comes secondary, then primary, and final one is the methyl carbocation. Methyl carbocation means there is no alkyl group, just 3 hydrogen attached to the positive carbon. That is what methyl. That has been considered separately. Primary mean 1 alkyl group, secondary mean 2 alkyl group, and tertiary mean 3 alkyl group. In methyl carbocation, there is no alkyl group. So that is the simplest carbocation forming in a organic reactions. So when you look into the stability, tertiary is more stable, then comes secondary, then primary, and the least stable one is methyl carbocation. The reason for the stability is important, but that you are learning in the coming part of this chapter, like related to the inductive effect and hyperconjugation. That we will discuss little later, but now you just know the trend, or you can say the relative stability of carbocation. You can say tertiary is more stable, then secondary more stable, then primary, then comes methyl carbocation. So for now you just need to know the order. The explanation we will learn when we discuss about inductive and hyperconjugation effect. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now what I want to discuss is about carbanion. There is not much to
Ma'am,
discuss in carbanion.
Ma'am, could you show the order once again, please?
Tertiary, secondary, tertiary being more stable, then secondary, then primary, and the least stable one is methyl carbocation. That is without any alkyl group.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. In carbanion, again, this is a carbon fragment. Say example, if you're talking about CH3 minus, this is the simplest carbanion possible. It is one carbon with negative charge. So in this fragment, carbanion, carbon carries a negative charge, but here it may look like CH3 plus. When we look into this representation, it may look identical, but here the hybridization is sp3 and the geometry is distorted tetrahedral. So that is a major difference, because even though they look like identical, just only the difference in the positive and negative charge, but here the hybridization and hence the geometry is different. For CH3, it was sp2 hybridization and it was trigonal planar. That we discussed already in the previous slide. But in the case of carbanion, this is sp3, and we already know that with sp3 hybridization, the expected geometry is tetrahedral arrangement. So 3 hydrogen you can see over here, and there is no fourth bond. Instead, there is a negative charge. That negative charge means a pair of electron, because we discussed in heterotic cleavage, negative ion mean by taking or gaining both the electrons of shared atom, right? Shared pair of electron will be going to the negative ion. So that is what comes as here, and there is a negative charge you can show on the carbon atom. So this will not be look like an actual tetrahedral, because there is no fourth bond on it. That is why it is known as distorted tetrahedral. That means some damaged or some changed arrangement from a tetrahedral arrangement. So the geometry of the structure is distorted tetrahedron and hybridization is sp3. Like carbocations, carbanions are also unstable and reactive because they carry charge. Whenever a species has a positive or a negative, then they will be more reactive than the neutral substances. Always it is the stability will be very less for charged fragments or species. So here it carries a negative charge, so they are very much reactive. So this is what I need to discuss in carbanion. We will be using these terms throughout our organic discussion. Hope you all noted down the important points.
Ma'am, is that diagram also necessary?
No, this is just for your understanding how you will get a distorted tetrahedral arrangement. Anyway, I will upload the notes, so if you want to refer, you can refer it later also. But at least you should know this difference: sp3 hybridization and distorted tetrahedron for carbanion, and for carbocation it is sp2 and trigonal planar. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have discussed about heterotic cleavage and the fragments formed with the positive and negative carbons after the heterotic cleavage in detail. Now we are moving to the homolytic cleavage. As the name indicates, it is homo, that means in a similar way or equally the bonds will be broken, and after the cleavage, the shared electrons, one electron will go to the bonded atoms or fragment. So here, as you can see, Rx and the shared pair of electron, you can see it has been shown using half curved arrow with half ends. Like you can see, usually for electron pair transfer, we will use a curved arrow with a double head. But for homolytic cleavage, because there is only single electron is taking place, the movement of single electron, In the previous example, in heterotic cleavage, electrons as a pair, they were shifted to one of the atom or element or the fragment. But here, one electron to one of the fragment, the other electron to the other fragment. It is moving like that. So it is showing the movement of a single electron, and that can be shown in the same curved arrow, but you will have one side head. Or if you show it in the other way, again curved arrows, one side head. That is how you can see in the diagram also. This indicates homolytic cleavage. So in homolytic cleavage, when you compare with the heterolytic cleavage, the basic difference here, only the movement of single electron takes place, and single electron movement is usually shown using half-headed curved arrows, which is also known as fish hook arrows. It just looked like a fish hook. So these arrows, everything is very important in organic, because in organic there are shift of electron takes place and as part of many thing. So the usage of arrows are very important. So normal electron transfer, you will use full curved arrows with full head, double head. And for the homolytic cleavage where single electron is moving, we use half-headed arrows. So here, after the transfer of electron, one electron each to the both the fragment, what you get is like a species with one free electron or one unpaired electron. So this electron was already belonged to this atom only before also. So then they shared it for making a covalent bond. But after the cleavage of the covalent bond, it has been given back. But the problem is that this electron is now an unpaired electron, or you can say unpaired electrons are free. They are not part of any bonding. That is what they say, that they are free electron. So such species or such fragments which contains a one unpaired electron and are known as free radicals. Free radicals mean chlorine can have free radical, bromine can have free radical. We just represent with one dot on above. But if an alkyl fragment, like example CH3, which is methyl, has got a one dot, a free radical, then we call it as alkyl free radical. And this is what important in organic, because we look into the carbon fragments in reaction mechanism. Okay, so free radical mean they are neutral. They don't carry any positive or negative charge. They are neutral species formed after the homolytic cleavage of the covalent bonds, as you see here, which carries an unpaired electron. So homolytic cleavage result in the formation of a free radical, which are neutral species, which could be an atom or a group, which contains an unpaired electron, and these are also highly reactive because of the presence of unpaired electron. That electron makes them more reactive. Even though it's neutral, it is more reactive than the other neutral species because of the presence of this unpaired electron gained by the shift or the cleavage of the bond. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, in the previous one, I had a doubt, ma'am. In heterolytic cleavage, double bonds and triple bonds, do they break also there?
Yeah, that will be different. Here we are talking about a single covalent bond, because in normal majority of the organic compounds, this is single. Carbon makes single bonds with carbon or the other one. The double bonded compounds are comparatively less in number, or that will be dealt in a different way. And that is not very easy to break a double bonds in organic compounds.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So please go through it. I have uploaded a worksheet for the with the organic nomenclature questions, and that is on point of view of PT3 exam, because I have not included the aromatic naming. What we have discussed before the winner only included. Please go through it, and if you have any difficulty, then we can discuss it. So maybe during tomorrow's zero period or something, you can solve those questions and get back to me once we meet during our chemistry period. Okay?
All right.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.